courses that we can add. We can remove a course. How about I want to edit a course, right? So maybe put an edit button here. And when I click on the edit, maybe I like to have like an input field here that I can actually edit, right? So let's take a look at how we might do that. So notice that all these delete buttons live where? In the row, way down in the row, right? And they have, when you click on it, they send an event all the way up to the parent, right? So let's implement an edit. And the edit, what I'd like to be able to do is replace this with an input field. Right, so let's do that. So that, I believe it's inside of the table row. And right now we just have a hyperlink, right? This is just a hyperlink. We'd like to have an input field, right? That would toggle between the input field and the hyperlink, depending on the button edit. So we'll have maybe right next to this will be a button, and this is edit. And when we click on it, there's edit. There it is, edit. When I click on it, I like to toggle this. Okay. So here's a conundrum, right? If I click on edit, somehow I need to either show this hyperlink either as a hyperlink or as an input field, right? Whose value is the course title, right? I have here. I either have the input field or I have the hyperlink, but I should not have both, right? If I click on the edit, I would show this, and I would show the input field. And when I click on maybe save, and when I click on save, it would hide the input field and would show the new title. Yes, right. So I need to hide and show different things depending on some flag. If I'm editing, I show one thing. If I'm not editing, I show the other, right? So for instance, I would have to have some kind of flag that says, I could say editing true. So if it's editing, I show the input field. Right. So if I'm editing, I show the input field. If I'm not editing, and I don't show the hyperlink. So if I'm not editing, right? So here I'm editing. I just show the input field. If I'm editing false, then I show the hyperlinks. Yes, I need to manage that. So because we are a stateless function, we don't have a place to handle that input field, that flag, right? We cannot change it, right? We would have to have maybe the parent who's maintaining state do it for us, right? So here's where you start deciding, okay, is this a stateless component, or does it need its own state, or its own little state? For instance, buttons and hyperlinks and input fields, right? They all usually maintain their own state, right? As these input fields are implemented by the browser, and internally they have their own logic on, as you're changing the value, it has its own little model, right? Its own little state machine internally. We usually have the same kind of question here, but we don't have any place to store the state. So I'm going to modify this to be a stateful component. So it'll be a stateful component. It'll have its own event handlers, okay, but it will not be a container, right? A container is someone who contains other elements, provides states for those children, right? Also provides event handling for those children. Here, I'm going to maintain state for me. Right? I'm not going to propagate this to anyone else, right? I'm going to have it internally so I can hide, show, right, and behave differently depending on whether my local state. Yes? If I propagate this to my local children, then I would be a container. So I'm still a component even though I'm stateful and even though I have event handlers. Yes? Do you see the difference? So containers are components that maintain their own state, their own event handler, but they also share that with their own children, right? And provide all this for their children. So I'm going to change this to a class, and I'm going to extend React component right, a full-blown class, and I'm going to have a render function that is going to return this long li over here. Right, I'm going to return it right here. Okay. And all these properties, show, course, the course, blah, 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 all those used to be passed in as arguments. Yes? They're still being passed as arguments as properties. Okay? But the way we receive them here is through this dot props dot. Okay? It's passed in through a constructor, right? Through a constructor right here, constructor, right? That passes it, that map, right, is being passed in through these props, which I'm storing it here, right? And I'm calling my parent constructor, and I'm passing those props. And then those props are available, as part of the instance component that I'm in, right? So I can rewrite this. I can rewrite all this, right? This dot props, right? This dot course. Okay. What else? Editing. I don't have that. Nobody's passing me this. Let's see if this. All right. Okay. So it works, right? I've replaced this row into a stateful class as opposed to a stateless function. Yes. Right. And the only reason I did that is so that I can maintain my own state. I can maintain my own state and editing. Now I can say that this is true, right? And then I can drive this dot state dot editing. Oops, copy. Copy. I can drive now my logic here, right? If this is false, right, it goes back and forth. Yes, right. Now I can use my edit button to control that little edit. What time does this end? 11:30. So I have another 15 minutes. Yep. Yeah, there's a lecture. I can't stop. Sorry. All right. So let's use this edit button to control this editing, right? We can control it. We can say, we can say edit here. We can say on click, and we can handle it right here. We can say set state for editing true, right? And it starts as false. So I'm here, and if I click on edit, it changes into the input field. See that? Or edit, and save toggles it back, right? So in the save, where's my save? My save button, it would be on click, this dot set state editing false, right? So that I can edit. Now notice that it's not letting me change it again because the state, the value is set by who? The value of the input field is set by some course that was passed to me, right? It was passed to me and has that value. I would need to change this somehow, right? And we'll see that in a minute. Okay. And when I save, I need to change it. So, all right, everybody okay with that? All right. So let's see how we can change this locally. All right. So let's take a look at that now.